Living in a new country can be intimidating. Between learning a new language, understanding new cultural norms, and figuring out how to get through the complexities of daily interactions, you are bound to make a couple mistakes or not understand why certain interactions went the way they did. Using the intercultural praxis can help you manage these situations, which is exactly what I did when I studied abroad in Japan, even though I didn't know what the intercultural praxis was at the time. So what even is the intercultural praxis, and why does it matter in intercultural communication? Intercultural praxis is the process of critical analysis, reflection, and action for effective intercultural communication in the context of globalization. There are 6 ports of entry that include inquiry, framing, position, dialogue, reflection, and action. Engaging in intercultural praxis can increase awareness and critical analysis, as well as develop responsible actions in our intercultural interactions. It enables us to navigate complex and challenging intercultural interactions in our interpersonal, communal, and global spaces. In this video, we will explore the significance of intercultural praxis in managing the challenges of living in a different country through my personal experiences of my first time going into a Japanese convenience store. My first day in Japan was a little hectic. We had missed our connecting flight from Tokyo to Osaka, and me and my best friend found ourselves stranded in a Tokyo hotel for the night. We were extremely jet lagged and exhausted from waiting over 2 hours to work with the airline to book a new flight. I needed to grab something quick to eat and just go back to my hotel room for the night. So thankfully there was a convenience store in our hotel lobby. As I had walked in, I had felt confident that my 1.5 years of studying the language would get me through this fairly simple interaction. I didn't plan to use any English given I am a guest in their country and I didn't want to be seen as some uneducated and incompetent American that didn't know the language. I was super nervous to use my skills for the first time outside of a classroom context, but how hard could it be? They'll ask how I'm doing, if I want a bag, and then tell me how much I owe. Simple enough. But what I had forgotten to take into consideration was that these scripts were what I have been used to in American culture. And the Japanese culture would shape this interaction completely differently. As soon as we walked in, we were met with a choir of an in unison "Irashaimase" from the shop employees, which meant welcome. Unsure how to respond though, me and my best friend just said thank you and continued into the shop. We were quiet and respectful while we found some ramen and snacks for the night as to not cause a disturbance to the employees or the other customers. We whispered in English as to not stick out more than we already did. Being loud in public can be seen as disrespectful even in places like convenience stores, and Americans had this preconceived notion of being loud and obnoxious in Japan. I did not want to add to that notion. While in line waiting to check out, I practiced what I thought was going to be asked when I got to the front of the line. But the second I got up there, my script was shattered. The older woman checked me out in silence, not asking how I am, where I'm coming from, or even where I'm going. Then I was bombarded with many questions that I didn't understand in Japanese. The word she used for bag wasn't the word I learned in the classroom. I wasn't expecting her to ask if I needed utensils or napkins, or even if she should heat up my ramen for me. I felt embarrassed that I couldn't recall any textbook definitions for the words she was using, and that I had failed to get through this simple interaction. The sweet lady, though, quickly realized, and even though she didn't speak English, she was able to use gestures and pick up the object she was talking about to get her point across. I was then able to respond in simple Japanese phrases. I paid, collected my things, and quickly made it up to my room to research what to expect to be asked in Japanese convenience stores. I found a couple of articles and videos that really helped me. In hindsight, I should have probably done this before going to the store, but I was able to take my curiosity to understand where the interaction went wrong to help me get through this convenience store interactions with ease from that point on. I practiced phrases I learned and put them into action. I had used the awkward and embarrassing interaction to become more educated in intercultural communication within the new country I was living in. When entering into new situations, I was sure to look up or ask my Japanese friends and professors what the proper phrases to use were in these situations. This incident highlights the significance of critical analysis, reflection, and action through my real-world experience as I struggle with language barriers and cultural practices in a new country. Instead of succumbing to embarrassment and discomfort, I used it as an opportunity for improvement. My experience exemplifies the importance of engaging with intercultural praxis in fostering awareness and responsible actions in intercultural interactions by inquiring about cultural nuances and the language of my new environment. I was able to learn from the situation and gain a deeper understanding of intercultural communication.